Hello and thank you for joining us on Alive TV. I am Elizabeth Woodflan. The headlines. ASUU to take final decision today. Members advocate another round of strike action. Protesters ask their president Akufo-Addo to resign as inflation worsens in Ghana. Barcelona to face Manchester United in Europa League.
Alive TV.
And now the news in detail. The Deputy Alana of Ilana Omo-Oduah Worldwide, Wale Adeniran, has resigned from the apex body of the Yoruba self-determination struggle. Adeniran's decision to resign from his position is coming hours after the spokesperson of the group, Maxwell Adeleye, also turned in his resignation. At the time of filing this report, Adeleye is yet to accept the rejection of the Worldwide Executive Council. Adeleye, in a statement released on Monday, disclosed that Adeniran's resignation from office took effect from Sunday, November 6th, and Adeniran, however, in a letter vowed to remain a staunch member of Ilana Omo-Oduah despite his resignation. While Adeniran claimed to have resigned based on principle, Adeleye noted that he resigned based on what only he and Professor Banji Akintoye know. The National Executive Council of the Academic Staff Union of Universities is set to meet today at the union's headquarters at the University of Abuja to decide the fate of Nigerian students in public universities. Reports state that the ASUU Emergency National Executive Council meeting is to discuss the way forward, as the union will reveal its stand over the issue of half salary paid to its members by the federal government. According to some ASUU leaders, members are advocating for another round of strike if payments for their salary backlog is not made. The academic union leaders told reporters that as the case is now, the decision lies with lecturers whether or not to resume, because some ASUU branches across the nation have held congresses to decide on the next steps to take. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has slammed the main opposition People's Democratic Party over the mockery of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Reports state that the minister, who faulted the PDP's comment that the APC can't campaign with President Buhari's achievements, said the Naira exchange rate and inflation were insufficient indices to write off Buhari's performance. On the foreign scene, faced with the record inflation of 37% in the country, several Ghanaians took to the streets on Saturday dressed in red t-shirts, the color of mourning in the country, to demand the departure of Nana Akufo-Addo. Many placards reading "Politicians are eating, Ghanaians are suffering," and "Resign or be impeached" were held up during the peaceful protest. Accused of nepotism, clientelism, and corruption, the president is in the eye of the storm. Ghana is seeking a $3 billion loan from the IMF to cope with the record inflation of 37% and the collapse of its currency, the cedi. 10 days after ruling party lawmakers called for the finance minister to be fired, the pressure on the government is mounting. And in sports news, the UEFA Europa League draw, which was made in Switzerland on Monday, saw Barcelona and Manchester United tie against each other in the last 32 knockout stages. Reports state that the Catalan Giants, who have had a long history of facing Manchester United in the Champions League, will give the fans a good show when they face each other in February next year. Recall that Lionel Messi scored a brace in the Spanish club's most recent Champions League encounter with Manchester United, which finished 3-0. And with that, we come to the end of the news at this hour. But before we go, here's a recap of the headlines. ASUU to take final decision today. Members advocate another round of strike action. Protesters ask their president Akufo-Addo to resign as inflation worsens in Ghana. Barcelona to face Manchester United in Europa League. Once again, I am Elizabeth Woodflan. Thank you for watching.
Alive TV.